Welcome back to another explainer. All right, today we are tackling a topic that literally strikes fear into the hearts of both everyday investors and Series 7 test takers alike. We're talking about margin maintenance. We're going to look at exactly what happens when a margin trade goes horribly wrong, and how you can calculate the exact penny where disaster actually strikes.
But hey, real quick before we get to the disaster, this explainer is brought to you by CertFuel. If you're studying for the Series 7, they've got a full course with adaptive study quizzes, smart flashcards, and unlimited practice exams that are weighted just like the real thing. Check them out at certfuel.com. Okay, let's jump straight into our nightmare scenario.
I want you to meet Carla, the customer. Carla just shorted 100 shares of a wildly volatile stock, turned her phone on airplane mode, and boarded a flight to Cabo for a 2-week vacation. But while she's in the air, the stock suddenly skyrockets. Her account is just bleeding cash. So here's the big question for you. Could her broker liquidate her account without even telling her? Spoiler alert, yes. Yes, they absolutely can. And to understand exactly why, we need to look at the absolute minimums required to keep a margin account alive.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is this number, 25%. For a long margin account, where Carla buys stock hoping it goes up, FINRA requires a minimum maintenance equity of 25% of the long market value. Now look, in the real world, most broker-dealers have higher house requirements, maybe 30 or 35%, but the Series 7 exam only cares about the FINRA minimums. So lock that 25% into your brain for long accounts.
But wait, let's see how this builds. Because for a short account, the FINRA minimum actually jumps up to 30%. Yep, 30% of the short market value. So you might be wondering, why the difference? Why does FINRA demand a bigger, thicker cushion just because you short a stock? Well, comparing the two side by side brilliantly illustrates the exact reason. Think about it. If Carla buys a stock long, her maximum risk is the stock dropping to zero. She loses her initial investment, and that's the whole shebang. It's a completely defined loss. But if Carla shorts a stock, she's borrowing shares to sell them, hoping to buy them back cheaper later. But what if the stock goes up and up and up? A stock's price literally has no ceiling. It could go to the moon. So short selling has theoretically infinite risk. Because that risk is unlimited, FINRA steps in and requires a thicker 30% safety cushion.
Okay, moving on to Section 1, calculating the trigger price.
We really need to find the trigger price. That's the exact penny where Carla's equity drops too low and the alarms start blaring. Let's start with the long account trigger formula. Honestly, it's shockingly simple if you just memorize this one rule. Take the debit balance, which is the amount of money Carla owes the broker, and simply divide it by 0.75. Why 0.75? Because it represents 1 minus that 25% maintenance minimum we just talked about. Dividing what you owe by 0.75 tells you the absolute lowest the total stock value can go, while still keeping your 25% equity cushion intact.
All right, I want you to actively test yourself right here. Let's say Carla is long 100 shares, and she has a $5,000 debit balance. Okay, pause the explainer right now. Seriously, grab a calculator and run the math. What is the total market value that triggers the call, and what is the per-share trigger price?
Boom! Here's the answer. Did you get it? $5,000 divided by 0.75 equals a total market value of $6,667. Since she has 100 shares, you just divide that total by 100, which gives us a precise trigger price of $66.67 per share. If that stock drops to $66.67, Carla gets a maintenance call.
Now let's flip the whole thing over to the short side. The short trigger formula works basically the exact same way, but instead, we use the credit balance, which is the cash from the short sale plus her initial margin deposit, and we divide it by 1.30. Again, the logic is exactly the same. It's 1 plus the 30% minimum maintenance. We divide the credit balance by 1.30 to find the maximum the stock can rise before her 30% cushion is completely crushed.
Let's do another interactive test. Remember, Carla is sitting on the beach in Cabo right now. She shorted 100 shares. Her short account has a credit balance of $7,500. Pause the explainer again right here, calculate the total market value and the per-share trigger price that is going to totally ruin her vacation.
And the answer is a total market value of $5,769. That's $7,500 divided by 1.30. Divide that by our 100 shares, and her per-share trigger is $57.69. If that stock rises to $57.69, her 30% equity is entirely gone, and the sirens start blaring at the brokerage firm.
So what happens next? Section 2, surviving a maintenance call.
So the stock hits the trigger,
Back at the firm, Riley the rep is fully panicking. To meet the call, Carla has to deposit cash or fully paid marginable securities into her account. She essentially has to bring that equity right back up to the maintenance level. For a long account, the required deposit is exactly 25% of the current long market value, minus whatever equity she actually has left. She has to fill that gap. But remember our setup. Carla is in Cabo, her phone is off. Riley the rep cannot reach her.
Which brings us to a massive exam trap. Listen up, because the exam writers love to set you up here. You will definitely see a question that says something like, the firm must give Carla 3 days to meet a maintenance call. Do not fall for this.
The reality is absolutely brutal. The firm can liquidate her securities immediately. Let me say that again. 0 advance notice is legally required. Sure, in the real world, most friendly brokerage firms will try to give you 2 to 5 days to wire the money, but according to strict FINRA rules, they don't have to wait a single second. They can sell her out immediately to protect themselves.
And here is another wild exam trap for you. Riley is desperate, right? So he runs over to Sam, the supervisor. Sam says, hey, let's just liquidate some stock from your other client's account to cover Carla's margin call. Absolutely not. Under FINRA rules, a firm may never, ever meet a margin call by liquidating another customer's account. That is a huge violation. Carla's mess is Carla's problem alone.
All right, let's clear up one more big point of confusion. Section 3, Reg T versus maintenance.
If you want to mentally bookmark one single concept to clear up exam confusion, it's this side-by-side comparison. Just take a mental screenshot of this. A Reg T initial call happens when you make a brand new purchase and you need to deposit 50%. A maintenance call, on the other hand, happens purely because of market movement. The stock price changed while you were holding it and your equity dropped below 25% or 30%. The timing is the real kicker here. A Reg T call gives you a firm deadline, T+3. That's the T+1 settlement date plus 2 additional business days. But a maintenance call? It must be met promptly, and as we just saw with Carla in Cabo, the firm can liquidate immediately.
And this brings us to our final exam trap of the day. The exam will try to trick you by saying a restricted account triggers a maintenance call. False. If an account drops below the 50% Reg T initial level, it is simply called a restricted account. That does not trigger a call. The maintenance call only happens when the floor falls all the way down to 25% for long or 30% for short. Okay, let's bring it all home. Section 4, Rapid Fire Exam Recap.
All right, you've survived Carla's Cabo disaster. First big takeaway, the FINRA minimums. Long accounts require 25% maintenance equity. Short accounts require 30%. And why is short higher? Because shorting a stock carries theoretically infinite risk. Second, those essential trigger formulas to find the per-share price where a call happens. For a long account, you take the debit balance and divide by 0.75. For a short account, you take the credit balance and divide by 1.30. Please, memorize these denominators.
Finally, the brutal liquidation rules. The firm can liquidate immediately, with absolutely no notice. They cannot steal from another customer to cover it, and remember, Reg T gives you until T+3, but a maintenance call means you have to act now. So the ultimate question to leave you with today, if Carla's broker called you right now, do you have the formulas memorized to tell her exactly how much she owes before they sell her out? Get those flashcards out and make sure you do. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy studying.